Hey everybody, it's Ronin. Today I'm going to be talking about a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles miniseries called The Last Ronin. Now that the fifth and final issue is out, I can finally talk about it, and I'm happy to be able to recommend it to all of you because it stuck the landing. This is a great idea for a turtle comic, and really a diamond in the rough in my opinion as far as new comic books go. I used to be a Wednesday warrior. I'd buy 10 or 12 titles every week, and now I rarely buy any new comics because I feel like the quality has significantly dropped in recent years, but this stood out to me when it was first announced enough that I picked it up and I loved it. I wouldn't say I'm a huge Turtles fan. Like most people, I have general knowledge, and I've read a couple volumes of the original series by Eastman and Laird back when it was just an indie comic inspired by stuff like Frank Miller's Daredevil, and actually that very first issue is one of my favorite single issues of all time. I'd highly recommend checking that out as well because it's such a great debut of these characters. I also read a good portion of the IDW revamp, but that's really where my knowledge ends because I haven't kept up with the franchise too much. I'm a sucker for this kind of story, and it's funny that they went back to that Frank Miller inspiration once more this time, taking a page from something like The Dark Knight Returns and coming up with this idea that's, what if there was only one surviving member of the Turtles in the future that comes back after a long absence for one last fight? The first issue wastes no time getting into the action. We're thrown right into this last surviving turtle making the trek into the city to avenge his fallen brothers, and I like that they don't come right out and say which one it is initially because he's wearing a black bandana and you can't really tell. I also like that he's hearing voices of the other turtles basically judging him along the way on his mission, which shows his deteriorating mental state. I appreciated the level of detail in telling this futuristic tale because not only does it put the Turtles universe in a fresh new environment, but the creators really took the time to make this surviving turtle look different with the passage of time, and that adds to the weight of the story. It's a cool idea that if the Turtles all survived, they would keep mutating over the years and their appearance would eventually change. There's also just enough recognizable stuff in here to please hardcore Turtles fans. I was a little skeptical about the idea of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book with only one turtle in it, but the story is so compelling that it doesn't affect anything, and there are plenty of flashbacks with the entire Tmnt ensemble to keep fans interested. The beginning is a perfect balance of setting the stage and filling you in on what happened in the world of the Turtles, mixed with fast-paced action to keep the pages turning. The immediate failure of this turtle, who we find out is, and I'll give you a little spoiler warning right here if you want to dip out, it ends up being Michelangelo. It's a great choice because it gives the creators time to have him reunite with an aging April O'Neil and her daughter, Casey. From here, we're taken on a journey with these surviving characters to regroup and to try and stop Shredder's grandson, Oroko Hiroto, and end this feud once and for all. As much as the action is great in this series, the sections in the old turtle lair are important for character growth, and this gives April's daughter time to get to know Michelangelo and learn from him. It's cool to see one of the turtles take on sort of a mentor role to someone else because they always looked up to Splinter, so it's a nice passing of the torch. And I also like that Casey has respect for Michelangelo and the rest of the turtles and wants to learn more about their martial arts. Like I said before, the flashbacks really help flesh out this story, and the way it's told adds a lot of dread because they slowly show you little pieces of the final conflict between the Turtles and the Foot Clan each issue until they finally reveal everything that happened, and it's pretty dark. I like that the creators didn't shy away from the blood, and it's amazing to me that this level of dramatic attention can be given to a story about mutated turtles, but that's what good writers and artists can do. I appreciated the addition of Fugitoid as well. I always liked that character. It was such a strange but fun sci-fi concept in this otherwise gritty street-level tale. And he's also very important to the overall story in this. I'd say Oroku is a worthy villain for this series because it keeps the connection to the past, and it also ramps things up with him basically being the ruler of this futuristic Blade Runner-esque New York City. They also establish earlier on with his training sequences that he's an amazing fighter as well, so that definitely helps. Before I go any further, I should also add that the whole creative team is top-notch. You have the original creators, Eastman and Laird, helping Tom Waltz with the story, and the art is by Andy Kuhn and Ben Bates. I like this art style a lot more than some of the other Turtles comics from IDW, and I love the design for Michelangelo and how bulky they make him. The culmination of the Foot Clan and Baxter Stockman coming together to take out the Turtles is really heartbreaking, especially for April O'Neil. There's definitely a lot of PTSD with her, and she kind of takes on this Sarah Connor type role, which works perfectly. The end of the flashback sequences are gut-wrenching and sad, but also pretty badass because we get to see the Turtles and Splinter showing no mercy to their enemies, but it's definitely weird seeing them meet their demise. It really does build this hatred for Oroku, though, and you want to see Mike get his revenge, and that's where this series really shines, is in the final issue, because all of this character building and tight storytelling comes to a head, and it's all down to Michelangelo versus Oroku, and the fight doesn't disappoint. The ending will definitely be bittersweet for some fans, but it also leaves the door open, which I didn't expect because I thought this was a one-off, but it was a solid ending and a fantastic series from start to finish. I also think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles finally have their definitive story with The Last Ronin. This is their Dark Knight Returns, their Watchmen, their Born Again, etc. You know what I mean. And this is a new classic in my eyes. It's so great to say that and mean it because I don't feel like there are many new instant classic stories being told right now in the comic book world, so other publishers should take note of this. I think people are hungry for these types of stories, and I hope to read more like this soon. I wouldn't say you need to read any of the other TMNT comics to enjoy this, but it would definitely enhance your experience if you did. So let me know what you guys thought of this story in the comments if you've read it, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, it's Ron here with a quick announcement. When I started this channel, I was reading and reviewing the Dune books and other sci-fi related material, and most of you might not know that I'm also a musician. So when I was reading these sci-fi books, I started to get inspired and decided to make my own soundtrack to use for my videos, and now I'm excited to tell you all about the first volume in the Ron Reviews original soundtrack collection. This album includes the first 17 tracks featured on my channel, and it's available now exclusively on Bandcamp. Be sure to check the description of this video for the link to the album. Thanks so much for the support so far. I know I'm just starting out, but I hope you're having as much fun as I am. So check out the original soundtrack Volume 1 on Bandcamp. This music is great if you want something moody and atmospheric to listen to while you're reading some science fiction. I think you're going to love it. Thanks.